There you go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, something like that. We're just looking at the shepherd's rod here. It's been out for just a little while now. You can order it on didyoulearntolove.org. We'll put a little link up there and hopefully make that very easy and available for you to get if you're so inclined. But I wanted to talk about something that's in there, chapter 6. It's talking about the coming shift that's we're currently in. Actually, we've been in a transition period for about 4 or 5 years now, and the whole body has been basically we're in the baptism of the Jordan, and the whole transition has been resembling Joshua chapter 1. You can actually look at Joshua chapter 1 and see where like how things line up. It's pretty incredible looking, and I touch on a good bit of it here in the Shepherd's Rod. But for the past 4 or 5 years, the whole body has been entering into the Jordan, and the Jordan, obviously. You'd think you'd get wet entering into the river, but if you remember the story in Joshua, he parted the river, and the ground was made dry, and it's very, very similar for a lot of us, if not all of us. It has been dry. It has been a very dry season. It's been a very dry couple of years, depending on when you entered into the Jordan. I believe we are currently all in. Everybody is in the Jordan now, and I think on the horizon is, and horizon I'm saying in the next couple of months perhaps, that people are going to start coming out on the other side. I know a lot of people have moved, ministries have been shifted around or readjusted or whatever, families have gone cross country and such. And that continues just normally. It's not because you moved that you're in transition, but God has been using a lot of these things to put us in position for what He's about to do. And what He's about to do is usually called harvest, and He wants us to get in line with Him, to agree with Him, so we can be co-laborers in that harvest. Usually, what you see is that, and it lines up with Scripture, that judgment comes on the house of the Lord first, and the reason of that is so that we can become co-laborers with Christ. We can agree with Him. We can say, this is not working this way. I need to line up with God. Obviously, something needs to change, and it's always me, because God's perfect. So I need to line up with Him, and He's gracious with us. He's always waiting for us to agree with Him, and when we do, we become part of that salvation. And the season, like I said, judgment comes first on us, and judgment's always a good thing. Don't look at judgment as a bad thing. It just depends on whose side you're on. If you're on the judge's side, you're in good company. Judgment's going to go for you. The scary part is, after judgment comes on the house of the Lord, it comes on everything else, and that season of shaking for them is scary, because they don't have the answer. And they're going to be looking for it. We've been prepped. They need the answer. So we're prepped to be that answer, and not that we take the glory, but that we point them to the correct answer, which is Jesus. So we're all in now in this Jordan, and it's been dry. Usually what happens is he gets us into the Jordan by making it dry or uncomfortable out there. We get into the Jordan, and it's dry in there, and it's a season where you start letting go of things because you want to get out of that Jordan, and that's part of the whole preparation. When it's time for us, I know some people have moved and they think I'm out of the Jordan now. No, you're not. You're prepping. The Jordan experience doesn't necessarily stop just because you moved or changed churches or something. But it's about to. I'd say it's a couple months off. I think we're gonna start seeing where people are being set up into relationships that are going to be forming, where they begin to display God's new move in new ways that we just aren't necessarily ready for, but He's been prepping us for. So the neat thing is, you look in Joshua chapter 1, he says, things like, every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I have given to you. And that's verse 3. Verses 4 and 5 lay out all the territory. It didn't say where, everywhere, just walk wherever you want to. He gives them boundary. It's not necessarily that you can go everywhere that you want to. Jesus had, creator of heaven and earth. He had a territory that he stayed in. He didn't walk to India, and he didn't jump on a boat to Iceland or wherever. He stayed within the area that he was supposed to, and because of that, he was obedient even to the death of the cross. He reaped the eternal, he reaped everything. He's Lord of all, and rightfully so.
That's where I think a lot of times people get off course, is because of that scripture.
Mm-hmm.
It says everywhere the soles of your feet touch.
Right.
So we think every place we go is ours. And that's good to think that. However, I think we can get out of our sphere of authority.
Yeah.
Okay, when God sends us somewhere, okay, or He places us somewhere, then that's our place of authority.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what you said, like with Jesus, He didn't go to India or China or whatever. It's just like where He was,
Mm-hmm.
that's where His authority was. I mean, He was God over all anyhow, but
Yeah.
when He sends us somewhere, that's where our authority is.
Yeah.
Where the soles of our feet touch in that area, that's where we have the authority.
Yeah. There's some things to expect when we come out on the other side. And, it's funny just looking at Joshua that we just see you could look at it and just see the transition, going in and then kind of coming out, and you say, well, great, we've come out. Now what? And obviously there's going to be a wall of Jericho somewhere down the line, and hopefully we avoid the battle afterward of Ai, where they were defeated by a very small town. But here's some things that we can look for, and one is that there's going to be a more concise platform. That means a smaller platform, and like I said, we're currently in that dry season, And part of the reason is we need to get rid of some stuff. The whole season that we're in right now is a shaking and a dry season, so we just let go of some of the things that we didn't need to. We just can't we can't use them in the promised land. You know, it might be for someone else to pick up in the Jordan as they're coming out. But
Can you give an example?
can I give an example? I cannot think of an example right now.
Okay.
My brain went blank there.
Okay. Well, here's an example I have.
Okay.
After Bob passed,
Yeah.
your children, which was 2,
Mhm.
and then 3, and now 4,
Yeah.
the 2 really helped me through that time of mourning.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know I couldn't love any of them or all of them anymore if I tried. However, in this Jordan that I've been in and coming out of now, because I
Yeah.
feel I'm coming out of that, and it's been almost 6 years, but where they have been, you know, I've spent a lot of time with them and enjoyed every minute,
Yeah.
you know, and now the Lord is saying that's something I have to lay aside so I can get, because even though they've been a great joy to me,
Mm-hmm.
and they always will be, but now it's like I have to leave them at the bank of the Jordan, so to speak, for me to get on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not that I'll never see them
Right.
again or spend time with them, what have you, but, you know, where I had 10, you know, if you can go 1 to 10, where I had 10 with them, now it's got to be like a 4,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So and something that I love,
just gotta
but
let-
yeah,
you
I've
gotta
got
let
to
go
let
of-
it go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I could stay here with them.
Yeah. Well,
but I'd
it's
never
just
get
not going to
through
be
the
as
promises of
effective
God
for
when
you
I
to.
gotta get it.
Yeah, it's not going to be as effective for you if you have a lot of time or whatever devoted, you know, where your resources are devoted elsewhere than where they're supposed to. And there's some things like you just can't carry it around anymore. You need to let go. We can expect. Let's see. That things have been spied out for us. You see, in chapter 1, Joshua sent out the spies. And then during, you know, chapter 2 and such, spies are out and doing their job. And they're avoiding getting captured. And they spend a few days. There's basically, Joshua says to the Israelites, other than the spies, you know, which is funny, pack your stuff. We're going to be leaving in 3 days. It wasn't even pack your stuff. It was just prepare yourselves. We're going to be going across in 3 days.
Yeah.
He didn't say, you know, like make some beef jerky or, you know, like take your tents with you or sharpen your blades. He didn't anything like that. It's prep yourselves. We're going to go. We're going to go. And in those 3 days are the 3 days that the spies were out spying the new, you know, the new conquest. And so when they came across the Jordan, they came out on the other side. The spies were returning with their intelligence, and they gave, you know, like, here's what we can do. Here's some strategies. Here's, you know what? Here's some things that you might not have known. Oh, and by the way, here's you know, here's whatever you might need. Things have been sought out, spied out for us ahead of time, so that when we come out, it's not just like, oh, fumbly, you know, fumble along until we get it right. If we will look and agree, we'll find things are going a lot quicker and easier because things have been spied out for us ahead of time when we come out of the Jordan.
And you know, I think angels
Mm-hmm.
go before us to prepare our way.
Yeah, and I
So,
think that is
yeah.
part of the preparation.
Mhm.
And then, one of the other things I put about 7 things in here. I'm just trying to go through quickly. Is a sign of the new level of faith coming through that Jordan is going to, like, one of the things I had mentioned is there's going to be harvest, and it's going to be a lot of salvation coming through. When they come through, they're not like a separate entity. They're all part of that level of faith that has come through. So it's not like now they have to build up their faith. Yes, they do in some ways, but they're part of that new creation that is being birthed. So, but there's a sign. There's a sign of the new level of faith, and that sign, if you'll notice, in Romans 4:11, talking about Abraham, he said, and he received the sign of circumcision, a seal of righteousness of the faith which he had while still uncircumcised, that he might be the father of all those who believe, though they are uncircumcised, that righteousness might be imputed to them also. So here's so here's what happens. You get a sign of that level of faith. There's going to be a noticeable difference that comes upon that comes upon those that have gone through this season, and it's just going to be something that I don't know if the world's going to notice it, but we're definitely going to see it. I believe then the world's going to notice it. It's a distinguishing mark on us that is going to say this is a believer. This is
the glory of God.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
That's going to be the mark. So, anyways, be blessed with that. Remember, the video's done. So we'll put a link up for the shepherd's rod, and there is a lot in here. I covered probably 2 or 3 pages, and there's over 120. So anyways, be blessed, and we'll see you again later. Bye.